Hello and welcome back to the channel of Major Luck 92, the shaman of gaming. Now before I actually get into the topic of today's video, I'm just going to warn you about this gameplay here. As you can see, it's a Modern Warfare 2 gameplay. For one, don't mind how slow paced this game is. You know, for one reason, it's derail, so you know it's an absolute pile of snowy shit. And the other reason is I actually just wanted to grab a gameplay that was fairly long, so I had time to talk about the topic that I've chosen for today. And that topic is something that's sort of popped up in my mind recently, due to the kind of rise of Titanfall. Obviously, only the beta has been seen from that, but I already get the feeling that it is likely to be the shooter when it releases, and you know, even over whatever COD is going to be coming out this November, or whenever it's going to be coming out, October, November, it'll probably be November. So my topic for today is how to save the Call of Duty series, because honestly, I can see it dying, especially like I said with Titanfall coming, and other shooters that are, you know, looking really good, especially on the new consoles, ones that have been specifically targeted for the new consoles. So I do feel like the Call of Duty series is on the decline, and a lot of people are going to have this this same thought. And to be honest, if I'm going to be honest about it, I wouldn't actually mind it that much. You know, it'd be refreshing to see a new shooter coming through, kind of one with you know, less problems and that's less frustrating. But if the Call of Duty series could be saved, then I definitely would do it. But if it's going to be saved, it needs to be drastically improved. And I'm going to, you know, go through a couple of ideas I had that would drastically improve it, and, you know, maybe save it from certain death, really. You know, it's a fine line, and you don't really know what the developers are a success, whether it's through sales, because obviously every year they get massive sales, but you know, review even from hardcore fans isn't that great. But the reason I buy Call of Duty every year is because it's easy to just jump onto a easy to play multiplayer game, shooter, first person shooter, and just play it. And that's, you know, if I'm not wanting to jump onto an RPG or something that's time consuming and more immersive, then I've got this shooter experience that I can just jump on, and that's what Call of Duty is really good for, in my opinion. But do they see it as a success that they sell every year, or would they see it as more of a success if they sold and got really, you know, really good reviews from the hardcore fans? For me, I think, to be honest, it's hard to tell. It's hard to tell. They might just prefer, you know, that they're getting paid, which, you know, at the moment they still are. But, right, let's jump, before I waffle on about that too much, this whole, you know, creative strategy of selling and stuff like that, let's jump into some things that I think could save it. First off, I really do think that they need to start recruiting people that, you know, in production and creative strategists and things like that. They need to start recruiting people who play the game a lot. You know, YouTubers have talked about it, that they think they should recruit actual YouTubers, and it's obvious. It is obvious that game developers are now actually using YouTubers strategically to sell games and things like that. So why not recruit them into a higher position and let them, you know, because when they're playing the game, they notice the problems themselves. They don't need to be fed it. They're actually noticing it themselves, and they know that it needs to be changed. So I think they get things done better that way. And then the next thing, even if they don't do that, they don't recruit, you know, maybe a YouTuber or somebody who plays the game hardcore into their actual midst, they need to listen. They need to listen to the community better, instead of just putting out a game that they know is going to sell, but might not necessarily get, you know, capture everyone's imagination for a full year. You know, as opposed to actually putting effort into changing things that are annoying. They need to listen. They need to listen to the community, because if they don't, all that's going to happen is the same thing's going to happen every year. They're going to have the same game coming out, and I don't mean, you know, changes as in, you know, these dynamic map events like in Ghosts, because let's be honest, it doesn't actually make that much of a difference in most cases. You know, there's some like Prison Break and stuff like that where it has a little bit of a, you know, it changes the map slightly. Other than that, it really doesn't matter. That sort of improvement, people don't care. People don't care. You know, they want to see balance. They want to see, you know, fast-paced action. They want to see bullshit removed. And I don't mean that kind of thing like Robert Bolin saying there's no last stand and then there being final stand. That's just, that doesn't fly with anybody. So they really need to change the game. They really do. And that's why I think Titanfall is such a refreshing looking game, because it's so different. It's so different. It is sci-fi, but it doesn't go down that sort of Halo route. It's really refreshing. But if you want to save the CoD franchise, they need to change it. And to be honest, this whole thing with there being 3 developers now, Treyarch have got a really good opportunity. They've got 2 years to develop a game, and if they come out with the same stuff, it's dead. It's honestly dead. So they need to change it, completely change it, overhaul it, but keep the things in that make CoD unique. Fast-paced action, fast killing guns, stuff like that, but with balance and improvements other than just, you know, small dynamic map events that really, they don't really capture the imagination. Let's put it that way. You know, there's me nuke. No, but you know, they don't really capture the imagination. They need to literally overhaul the game. Listen to the community most of all, because I think what makes Call of Duty sell more than other games is the marketing technique. No other game out there does the kind of releases and invites people to these events like Call of Duty does, and that's why it sells so well. But if they can combine that with brilliant gameplay and, you know, new changes and things like that, then they can keep this franchise that a lot of people love alive. So basically that's closing in on the end of the video. Before I jump off, and I'm actually going to add my outro into this video, I also want to drop a little bit of a shout out to a TB Gaming 528, and I'll drop a link to his channel in the description. You know, as I've always been, always supporting small channels. I think he's slightly bigger than me, but he still puts out some really interesting Call of Duty content. So if you are interested in that kind of content, then jump over there. As I said, I'll drop a link in the description. I'll link 2 videos after this. And, you know, thank you for joining me on this little discussion. If you've got any other ideas, leave them in the comments section, and I will see you on the very next video. Camel tits.